5 seconds and we'll just go from there. Hey guys, See Do Eat Review here. I'm with Ryan. I'm with a special guest. I'm not sure who that is joining me. Hello, welcome.
Hi, I'm Tia. I'm the director.
Tia, welcome. Before I introduce your show, let me give you a little story about me and my other reviewer discussing your show. My brain read it as kinder.
hmm
She read it as kinder. I'm sure it's kinder. Can you explain the title, please?
Absolutely. So technically, the title of the show is Kinder,
Hmm.
but it is meant to be a little bit of a sort of double meaning. It comes the sort of etymology of why we call the show Kinder is that it's the German word for children.
Hmm.
So the character in the show, Goody, this sort of drag clown, is a bit of a German clown. So
Hmm.
my family, my heritage is German. So that's sort of where that came from. But we also like that it does have this double meaning because when we've done the show before, and front of house staff have called the show both Kinder and Kinder
Hmm.
to the audiences that are coming in, we kind of like that
Mm.
because the show is about children. It's about our relationship to children and that kind of stuff. But it also is about being a bit kinder to people in the world.
But that's what we were discussing when I was reading the blurb for your show. I went, this can be kinder, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know it can be kinder.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a lovely moment in the show as well where Ryan breaks down the etymology of Kinder and its origins.
Hmm.
So definitely, yeah, we love that it has both meanings.
How
But
long has
yeah,
this show been in development? How long has it come to be?
so at this point in time, it's probably been in development for about a year in terms of going just from idea to where we are today, which
Mm.
is back in the rehearsal room to
Hmm.
restage it for our Adelaide season. But we have probably been on the floor with it for about
Mm.
6 months or so.
Yeah, a bit less than.
Yeah, but all of the writing and the development of ideas and that kind of stuff has been going for about a year now.
Both your ideas or
No,
one come to
Ryan.
fruition?
No, so Ryan wrote the show.
Hmm.
Um, so Ryan and I have actually been friends for a very long time now at
How
this
long you been
point. We
directing
started
for?
work. This is actually my debut. I've never
Oh, well
directed, so
done.
thank you. It's really exciting. I work in the industry, but in different capacities, and so I'm
Hmm.
really excited to be working on this with someone I love and care and trust and all that. But yeah, no. So Ryan came up with the idea a while ago, and then they pitched it to me when we were off to see a Nan Golden exhibition, funnily enough. And we were
Hmm.
in the car driving, and then Ryan pitched it to me, and I said, "You need to do that. I think that's brilliant." And then I think like less than a month later, you had a script for me,
Yeah.
which was really exciting. And I said, "Gimme, gimme."
How long were you sitting on the idea, Ryan?
Um, probably probably about 6 months before I finally put pen to paper
Hmm.
because I've sort of been going through this time of working in the industry. I'm work predominantly as a performer, but also do a lot of producing work. And I had done a big stint of a lot of producing work for a while, and I hadn't been able to get back onto the stage for a while. And making that transition back to the stage was a bit difficult, a bit more difficult than I thought. And through a series of events, being dropped by an agent and all that sort of stuff, I was like, well, I was about to say a swear then, but I wasn't
You
sure.
can feel free, feel free.
Well, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to write my own thing.
Hmm.
And yeah, it all started with this one silly idea of a drag artist misinterpreting an event that they've been booked for, and then it kind of flowed from there.
And that's what I should rewind because I was too busy trying to get my story in.
No, no, I
What can
love it.
fringe audiences expect? What is Kinder about? I should have started with that from the very start. Go
No.
for it.
I think it was important to start with the name. I think it's good to get
Oh, cool.
Kinder
Great.
slightly down. So you're all good.
I was trying to make Justine look at this, and Justine will say, "See, oh, Justine, I'm not an idiot, but I should have clarified what the show's about."
Both
Go for it,
right.
We're
Ryan.
both right, exactly. No, so Kinder follows the story of this drag artist called Goody, and Goody, the audience come into the space and they're brought into Goody's space. It's their room, they're getting ready space, their dressing room, and we start with this sort of number that they've been preparing, this song that they've been rehearsing, and basically the number gets interrupted by a phone call from a local library. And what is implied in the phone call is that Goody has misinterpreted this event that they've been booked for.
Hmm.
Goody has been booked for a reading hour. And their interpretation of what a reading hour is, as a lot of drag queens are probably used to, is a sort of a roast of other
Hmm.
drag queens. When we read each other, we like, it's just insulting each other and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
But Goody has not been uh, booked for a roast. They have been booked for a children's storytime reading hour at a library.
That's
And so,
very prevalent in today's society about people being scared of it for some unknown reason, but go ahead.
no, absolutely, and that's the idea that of where it came from. Is this idea that reading sort of means two different things when you have that sort of insider of knowledge of the drag world. There's reading each other for filth,
Hmm.
each other, and then there's the literal meaning of what it means to read. And so that was the seed idea that I was talking about before, where I was like, huh, imagine if a drag queen mistook what that was.
Hmm.
Um, and what would the implications of that mistake be, given the climate that we're in right now, where storytime reading hours at libraries are so politicized?
Mm.
Hmm.
So what follows from that phone call and the start of the show is basically this downward spiral
Mm.
as Goody tries to figure out, what the hell am I going to perform? What are people going to think of me? I'm this brash, audacious, loud, outspoken drag artist. How am I going to be perceived by these parents and their children? Um, and yeah, so we have a bit of a downward spiral, and then we have a bit of a build up as they get ready to then
Hmm.
go to the library.
1 hour show?
1 hour show. And the idea that we're trying to show is that the reading hour that Goody is getting ready for happens in about an hour.
Oh,
Yes.
So
cool. Real
they're
time.
like, oh, crap, I gotta go. Like,
Yeah.
I gotta do something now, kind of thing.
Is it a one-man show?
It's
Okay.
just myself on stage,
Yes.
which is terrifying and freeing, because terrifying because I don't have anyone else to rely on,
Hmm.
but freeing because I don't have anyone else to rely on.
It's the excitement, the getting
Yeah.
comfortable being uncomfortable. How are you at taking directions, Ryan? I should ask the director then. Oh, no.
Wonderful.
Oh, okay. Good days and bad, I'm guessing.
No, they are actually really wonderful at taking direction. I think what's really lovely is, well, as I said, like Ryan and I have had a pre-existing friendship prior to this show. And so the process of developing trust within each other was immediate.
Hmm.
It didn't take long. And we respect each other as artists as well as friends. So when we pitch ideas to each other, or when I have something to say, or when Ryan has something to say, it's an immediate like, oh, I hear that. Yes, and I agree with you. So let's try it. Let's put it on the floor. Let's see what happens.
So that said,
Okay.
that said, sometimes I slip into producer brain.
Yes.
And find it a little bit difficult to relinquish control.
I know that too well. Yes.
A lot of the process has been realizing that I can trust what Tia suggests with things, and that sometimes I don't have to just rely on myself. I can. It's about collaboration, and it's about
Yeah.
But Tia, are you an artist yourself or you purely background? Because I'm wondering what you look for that Ryan may not look for and what different attributes you both bring to the show.
Totally. So I work as a stage manager. That's sort of
Hmm.
what that's
Very important role.
yeah. So my whole thing.
photographer.
Oh, and also photographer. I do things. I do things.
I like how you
I
use the old camera technique, not the new camera technique as well, Ryan.
well,
Well, we both love our film photography, so
yeah.
we're sort of very much.
Um, but in terms of like what I look for versus what Ryan looks for, I I think that Ryan tends to look on a very sort of macro level, and I think textually in this script you are addressing a very big socio-political landscape. But I think what I'm always interested in is the sort of subtext of that and where that is where that discussion is motivated from.
Hmm.
So I think I'm always kind of looking at these minutiae, and because I have the virtue of watching Ryan and Ryan can't see themselves, I'm able to sort of go, okay, I think you're talking about this, but actually it's coming from this place, and so maybe that intention, and then it changes the whole meaning of what Ryan is saying. I feel like I'm talking quite vaguely, but I don't want to go into
No,
specifics.
as I said, I like to hear because it's one of those fascinating things I like behind the scenes of it all. Is like, how do you know it's going to work? Have you performed in front of an audience before? An audience that are just not your friends who are going to say, "Oh, that's really good, it's really good," but you want someone who you can completely trust and say, "This is working, this is not working."
Yeah. And that's what's going to be interesting when we go to Adelaide, because we've already done a season of it here in Melbourne, but obviously all of our friends and loved ones came to all those shows. And so now it's going to be this interesting thing where we won't always have that. I will, because I'm originally from Adelaide, so
Oh, cool.
my loved ones in the audience as well. But I think it'll be more of a test of like, now that they're not there, what is it?
Yeah.
How's that going to be interpreted? Which
I
is
should ask
exciting.
then, how do you expect, how do you want the audience to feel from watching the show? What do you want this audience to learn from watching this show?
Yeah, I think the main thing that I want the audience to take away from the show, a big sort of theme throughout the show is this idea of stories. The stories that we tell ourselves, the stories that we tell other people, the stories that societally we tell ourselves to, which build up our ideas of what family is, of what care is, about what community is. There are all these narratives that we've told ourselves historically and continue to perpetuate today, which either uphold systems or prevent other systems from coming about. And I think what I really want audiences to take away is this idea that they don't need to be fearful of stories that are unfamiliar to them. And yeah, I think that's the main thing, that hearing another person's story or hearing another way of doing things can be scary, but it's not undoable. It's not gonna massively change. I'm kind of rambling, but I think the idea is just that when someone tells you a story, be open to it rather than putting up this wall, this reactionary wall of being like, oh, that's not how I do things. That's not how I do things. It's like, well,
Being
everyone
afraid
does
of
things.
yeah, it sounds like being afraid of the unfamiliar.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think so much of the stuff that we're seeing around the world, whether it's about queerness and drag in particular, or whether it's about people from different countries moving around, or people unfamiliar to you getting certain rights or getting rights taken away, all of these tension that we're feeling politically around the world at the moment, I think comes from a fear of that unknown, or a fear of hearing and experiencing stories that we're not comfortable in.
Yeah.
Nice way to finish. Where's it at? The dates and times, please.
So I'm doing 13 shows across the festival. We're doing it in sort of 2 blocks in 2 different venues. So show will be opening at Goodwood Theatre and Studios from Thursday the 27th of Feb to Tuesday the 4th of March. That is our first 6 block of shows, and it's at 9 p.m. And then I'm moving over to the Warehouse Theatre from Sunday the 9th of March. I'm doing a show then, got the Monday off, and then I'm doing Tuesday the 11th to Sunday the 16th.
Ryan Tiah, good luck with it all. Chuck in something else, Ryan. Go. It looks like you want to speak.
No, no, no. All I was going to say was those second blocks of shows. Some of them are 7:30 and some of them are 9 o'clock. So it's probably just best to jump on the Fringe website and have a look at what
Yeah.
specific
Check my
time.
notes down below. Guys, thank you very much. Good luck with it all.
Thanks,
Welcome
Shane.
back to Adelaide, Tiah. Welcome to Adelaide, Ryan.
Thanks.
Kinder, however you see it, go and see it, guys. Check it out. Cheers.
Thanks, Shane.
See ya.
Cheers,
Bye.
buddy.